Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be setting up the Ezcad 2 software on the Monport GI30 fiber laser machine. And by the end of the video I'm going to be engraving this steel plate. Hi everyone, welcome to the Laser channel where we learn, create, and share. My name is Greg and this is going to be a video, once again, all dedicated on the GI30 fiber machine by Monport. This software installation that I'm doing today is going to be perfect if you have one of these machines and you'd like to follow along as you do the software installation on your machine. It's also going to be perfect for those of you who are looking at this machine and you'd like to know what it takes to get the machine set up along with installing the software. Let's get started by covering a couple of things that we're going to need to fully set up the machine using the Ezcad 2 software. First of all is going to be the included USB drive. This is going to have all of the software files on that we'll need. I also recommend having the owner's manual next to it. This does a great job of helping guide through the steps of the Ezcad 2 software along with, of course, watching this video. We'll also need the included steel ruler when we set up the focus on the machine. And of course, since we are going to be running the machine, we will want to be wearing the included safety glasses. And of course, I'm going to need some metal to mark. This I have mild steel. Stainless steel also works good as a part of this setup process. This piece of steel, by the way, I've been hanging on to this for nearly 20 years. I've moved countless times during that time, and I've tripped over this how many times I couldn't tell you. But today is the day it's actually going to be put to use. Now, with all the materials covered, let's jump into the computer and start installing the software. I'm going to start by copying the files on the USB drive over to a folder on my computer. I'll take a quick look inside of this folder. We've got several more folders, and what's really neat is Monport included the entire Ezcad 2 user manual. This shows you everything you could ever possibly want to know about the EZ2CAD software. It also includes the PDF version of the manual. With all the files copied over, the first thing that I need to do is turn power on the laser machine. With the power button pressed, if nothing happens, chances are the emergency button in the front is pressed. I don't want to reach underneath the laser lens, so I'm going to go around to the side and reset that emergency button. And with that emergency button reset, the machine comes alive. The next thing I need to do is head over to Device Manager. When I scroll through Device Manager, we're going to see that under Other Devices, there's a problem with USB LM-CV4. This is the controller board inside of the machine, and Windows 10 doesn't know what to do with it, and we're going to fix that by updating the file provided by us on that USB drive. To do this, I'll right-click on it and Update Driver, select Browse My Computer for Drivers, and I'm going to click on Browse, and I'm going to navigate over to my GI30 Monport folder, over to Driver, and this computer is running Windows 10. And here's the file folder. I will click OK. I'll make sure that this is checked, include subfolders, and click Next. And it will install the driver. And it asks if I would like to do that, if I trust that source. And I'll click Yes, Install. And it says, Windows successfully updated the driver. This is great, and I can click Close. This is the hardest part of installing the software for Ezcad 2 software. Where it once said Other Devices, it now says BJJCV device and Laser Mark Controller Board version 2.0 USB. That is the board inside of the machine. This all looks good. I can navigate to where I copied all of the software files off the USB drive, and I'll go into Software 15 folder. I'll scroll down a little bit and I'm looking for the file called Ezcad2. This is going to be the software icon that I click on to start the software. Now, I don't want to have to navigate to this folder and scroll down through this list every time I want to run the software for the laser machine. So a little tip, I'm going to click and drag this all the way down to my taskbar and pin it down there. And now I can click on that and it will start the software, and it's in a very convenient location. This dialog box is the license agreement. It's in a different language, and this screen is going to pop up every time I start the software up. I'll click I agree. And I get an error saying that it cannot open a correct file. I'll just click OK. We're going to fix that right away. I'll navigate to the bottom of the screen, and this parameter F3 button, I will click that. That brings up a dialog box. What I'm looking at is this area here. I want to make sure that this is checked. Use the correction file. And that correction file, it's a way of saying the correction file for the lens that is installed on the machine. And as you've guessed it, that file is also included on the USB drive. I'll click on the double carets here to point it in the correct location for that file. I'll just need to navigate back to where I copied all of those files. That's why it's important to make sure that that file, all those files are copied to a pretty convenient place, because as you're seeing, we navigate back to that multiple times. I'll double click on software 15 file and then once again, and JCZ15. This is the file I'm looking for. I'll click on that once, then open, then OK. And now we're all set. One thing that I'd like to do is I want to head over to view and I want to turn on the grid work. That looks a lot better now. This is all that's needed for the software installation and setup of the Ezcad 2 software up to the GI30 by Monport. I'm now ready for the next step, and that is to find the true focus of the laser machine down to the workspace. My machine from the factory has a sticker on the side, their measured focal distance. I want to double check that. The GI30 is equipped with 3 red dot lasers to help assist getting the focus set. These dots come from 2 laser emitters, right here and right here, with the third coming through the lens itself through the laser umbilical cord in the back, and that is coming from the laser source itself. I am going to be converging those 3 dots into one by using the electronic focusing. To get started, I'm going to press the down key and get this pretty darn close. That looks good. The other thing that I'm going to do is look on the side of my machine, and your machine will have something around that number. And don't worry if yours says something slightly different. I'm going to be running the laser to find the true focus. And what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to shift the laser head up and down, and I'm going to look for the most sparks coming off of this steel plate. And I'm also going to listen for when that laser marking is the loudest. I'm going to start out by grabbing the circle draw tool, and I'm going to draw a circle. I only need that to be about 5 millimeters. So I've got that resized. I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to go back over to my mouse cursor, and I get some more menu items up here. I'm most concerned with this icon right here, and this is put at origin. This is going to put it in the middle of the workspace, and this is kind of what we're going to do with everything when using a fiber laser. I'm going to uncheck default parameters. And a speed, I'm going to change this to 800 millimeters per second, a power level of 65%. Frequency can be somewhere around 20. The rest of that looks good. And again, I'm going to hit apply. This is also going to be one of the things in Ezcad 2. Whenever we make a change on something, whether it's an object or a run setting, we'll be clicking apply. I can navigate to this F1 button here, red, this will frame out where that circle is going to appear. That looks good. I can hit stop. I am going to highlight the circle one more time. I'm going to navigate up to the top here to hatch. And this is going to just show me what the hatch type looks like. And for right now, this looks perfectly fine. I'll hit OK. I'm also going to check continuous because I want this just to continually engrave that circle while I find the perfect height of the laser head. And this part is where I do need to have the laser glasses on. This is all set. This is also going to be the first time that the laser is firing. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to click on the mark button, and there we go. And now I'm just going to bump the focus up a little bit, and we'll see that our engraving effect goes away. And when I start moving the laser head down, it starts coming back in. And if I move down too far, I lose the laser engraving effect. I think somewhere around there looks pretty good. It also sounds pretty good as well. From the factory, they have a measurement of 312 millimeters. When I look on my scale, I'm reading 317 millimeters. So this is a good thing to do, is just go back and double check the actual focal length of your laser machine. I'm now ready to move on to the next step, and that is checking and setting the alignment of the laser head down to the work surface. I think that this is an important step because this machine has all these rows and rows of really nice threaded holes for attaching work down to that surface. The machine also comes with a set of these acrylic guides, and this is great for setting up on the machine and then batch engraving things like aluminum business cards. And I can just draw in a box, and I'm going to uncheck that and individually type in 150 millimeters, 150 millimeters. And by the way, I'm getting that size, that 150 millimeters workspace, both from the literature on the machine, but also every lens on every fiber laser is going to have the work area that it will project to. With that set, I will click apply. I'll go back to my cursor, and that will pop up this toolbar here. And again, I'm going to click on this button here, and this is going to center that box I just drew onto the work area. And I'll press the red button, the F1 button. Here's the box that's being framed out. When I'm looking at this hole, I can see that my red frame line just clips the top of that hole. When I go to the other side, I can see that it isn't quite touching it. So I am going to turn that frame function off and then take these two screws underneath here, and I'm going to pivot that head until I have the perfect alignment. Things are moving right along. The software installation and setup didn't take very long. We checked the true focus distance of the laser. We even aligned the laser head up to the work area. And I'm going to throw a little bit of bonus content here at the very end to kind of get you pointed in the right direction when using the Ezcad software. For this, I'm going to put that piece of sheet metal back in the work area, and I'm just going to show you just some different things within the Ezcad software.